to have a conversation about...
It's a beautiful summer day in Amsterdam, and Jennifer Tosh is taking us on a tour to see symbols of Dutch colonial history in the city.
This is a replica of an 18th century cargo ship. This was a cargo ship of goods, but the same type of ship could be converted to carrying people as the cargo. 700 people could be transported in a ship this size.
Over centuries, Dutch merchants bought and shipped about 600,000 enslaved people from Africa during the transatlantic slave trade. They were taken to Caribbean colonies like Suriname, where Hans Christian Plus van Amstel has traced his family tree back to a slave owner in the colony.
It's an ugly period. And when you read the letters and the history of your own family, the central figure was Egbert van Emden. He owned 2 plantations. And together he had, I think, about 250 slaves.
That was in the 19th century. But the story is part of an era that began in the 17th century when the Netherlands was a global power and likely the richest country in the world at the time. The Dutch have historically referred to this period as the Golden Age. Now the use of this term is being debated because its description doesn't address the violence and brutality enslaved people endured in Dutch colonies.
There are different sorts. It's not a golden age we are looking back to. And it is a period with the best of times and the worst of times. Best of times for a few people and the worst of times for many people.
Adding this context to Dutch history is also the objective of a new permanent exhibition in the Tropen Museum in Amsterdam.
The exhibition is called Our Colonial Inheritance. We think that you cannot really understand current day society if you don't understand colonialism and how those structures worked. We believe that colonialism shaped the world that we live in today.
And that's true for people here. Many of the residents in this working-class borough of Amsterdam have roots in former colonies. Generations later, inequality still shapes their lives.
We held meetings here in Amsterdam Southeast, specifically talking about what do we need when we talk about moving forward. And even if we receive an apology from the king, what does it mean? What people told us that apology from the king will be a first step, and what people really need is their children to have a professional education, their children to get a job.
The Dutch were one of the last European nations to abolish slavery, and the king's expected apology comes later than that of other former colonial powers. The question is, what comes next?